Greetings once again. It's a pleasure to meet with you in this clip. In our previous clip titled Taking Back the Power to Say No, our context in that clip was more of the Adam life, the Eve life, the Garden of Eden life. People who were placed in that garden, we learned from that previous clip that they could not, in all the power given to them, summon the courage to say no to the challenges of life. At the end of this clip, I'd like you to like it, to even subscribe to Dan's Corner. Today, in continuing with taking back the power to say no, my focus is more on one member of that family, Eve. We understand that she came in as the second citizen in the garden. Now, the Adam family was endowed with dominion over all creation. The image of God was the core of their being. The lack of courage by this family, in particular by Eve as she is the context, the lack of courage to say no by this first family, the family that was established on earth, set a precedent, changed the landscape of life on a downward course for all of us. Now, as a result, sin lives in us. Because they elect to say no, a big disconnect from the divine power became the order of the day as a result of this lack of courage. The entire human race, you and I, were now disconnected from the source that created our spirituality, from the peace that God gave man. We were disconnected from the divine provisions of life's welfare that God gave to us. We read in the scripture, in the book of Romans chapter 3, verse 23, and Romans chapter 7, verse 14 to 25. And this is what they say respectively. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We know that the law is spiritual, but I am unspiritual. Spirituality becomes a disconnect from the spiritual being. We are sold as slave to sin. Because of the disconnect, I do not understand what I do. For what I want to do, I do not do. But what I hate to do, I do, and I do it with courage. And if I do what I do not want to do, I agree with the law. And what is very imperative, it means it is no longer I myself who do things that I do, but the sin that is living in me has control over me. All because of the lack of courage to say no from inception of life. Just after this pause, I wanted you to think a bit about the kind of spiritual people we are. There's a cry, and I want to admit that cry that we have in us, the cry to be saved from the clutches of things that we do when we do not want to do. It all starts with Eve, through the Adam, and lastly to the children, Cain in particular. The context is captured well in the scripture found in Genesis chapter 3. Eve is deviously pressured to engage in a discussion. The discussion was simple. The question posed to her was very simple. A question that cast lots of doubt in her mind. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? And that was the question. Eve was introduced in the garden as an adult already. And I want to admit that she never had the background directly from God of what needed to be done in the garden. From the conversation she had with the serpent, she clearly understood the mandate. She understood the command that was given to them in the garden. However, it would appear as though she was not rooted in an understanding of the consequences that would come about her yielding to the challenge, to the temptation. This becomes evident later when she yielded to the temptation placed before her. Eve yielded to the pressure because she failed to do three basic things. She failed to recognize that she was put under pressure. How often do we fail when we are put under pressure? She failed to draw a line with a big no to the discussion. How often do we force matters to proceed to continue with the conversation when we are not well versed with it? She failed to drop the discussion in favor of a yes to obeying God's command. And I'd like to welcome your comments. At the end of the clip, just go to comments and give me your comments. You may subscribe to it. You may like the clip. May the Lord God bless you. My words in conclusion. Always summon the power to say no. For when you fail to say no, you might alter your destiny. God bless you.